Welcome back, everyone. In this lecture, we're going to be discussing strings. Strings are sequences of characters using the syntax of either single quotes or double quotes. Here we can see three examples. First, we have hello with single quotes, then hello with double quotes, and then what's nice about having both options of single quotes or double quotes, it means that if you have a single quote in your string that you want to keep and not have that end your actual string, you can wrap it in the other type of quote, such as double quotes or vice versa. So here we can see I don't do that has a single quote in there, but we don't want that single quote to suddenly end the string, so we can wrap the whole thing in double quotes. And we'll see an example of that later on in the Jupyter Notebook. Now what's important to note here is that strings are ordered sequences, and that means we can use indexing or slicing to grab subsections of the string because we know each character has a specific position to be in. And indexing notation, it uses that square bracket notation after the string, or the name of the variable assigned to the string. And we're going to see lots of examples of indexing and slicing in just a little bit. So indexing is the term used when you want to grab a single character from the string. So the way this works is that every single character has an index position assigned to it. So you start at 0. That's another important note in Python, that indexing starts at 0. So H has the corresponding number of 0, E has the corresponding number of 1, L2, L3, O4. So if I wanted to grab the E, what I would use is inside the square brackets, I would pass in a 1 after the string, and then it would return back E. And we'll see examples of that later on. What's also interesting about Python is you can actually use reverse indexing. So maybe you wanted to grab the last letter of a string, but you didn't actually know how long the string was. All you knew was you wanted to grab the last letter. Well, luckily there's reverse indexing available to you, so you can go just grab -1, and it'll grab the last letter of the string regardless of how long that string actually is. Slicing allows you to grab a subsection of multiple characters, otherwise known as a slice of the string. And this has slightly different syntax. Again, it's going to be in square brackets, but because we're grabbing a subsection, we're going to be able to define three parts of this. We're going to be able to say start, stop, and step. So again, this goes in square brackets with a colon separating each of these three terms. Start is going to be the numerical index of the slice start. Stop is going to be the index you will go up to, but not include. So that's an important note there. And we're going to really focus on that in the examples we'll see in just a bit. And then step is the size of the jump you take from start to stop. Okay, so let's explore all these concepts. They're going to make a lot more sense when we actually see the code examples. Let's hop over to a notebook. Okay, let's quickly show a couple of examples of a string. Again, we can use single quotes, hello, or we can use double quotes. So here I say double quotes with world. You can also have an entire phrase, doesn't need to just be one word. So we can say this is also a string. So we have a whole phrase there, and the white spaces count as characters inside of this string. Now, something we should note here is that we can mix single quotes and double quotes. So if I'm going to say something like, for instance, I'm going on a run. So note what's happening here. Because I'm using single quotes on the outside, only part of this is getting highlighted with the syntax. So this is going to confuse Python because it thinks that you're trying to end the string here, when really I'm trying to end the string here. So if I try to run this cell, it'll say an error here, invalid syntax. What I really want to do is wrap this in double quotes, and that way I won't have an error when I have this single quote in here. So then when I run this, Python has no problem. It says, okay, I get what you're trying to do here, trying to have a single quote there stay, and that's actually not part of the definition of the string. So now let's discuss actually printing out a string. So far, we're actually just asking the string to be returned. And that's the reason we see in and out with these cells. And that's also the reason we actually see the quotes in the output below the cell. But we can use the print function to actually print out a string. So we're going to say print hello, and if we run this, note what we actually get back. We no longer see the out in the cell, and instead we no longer see the quotes themselves. We're actually just printing out the actual string. And the reason this is important is because let's imagine I wanted to say hello world 1, and then I also wanted to say hello world 2. If I were to run this, what ends up happening is I only get back that last string. In order to see everything, I actually have to print out the results. So I will say print, and wrap this in parentheses, print hello world 1, and then I'll say print and then say hello world 2. And then when I run this, I get to see both strings printed out. So I no longer see that output, I'm actually just printing the results. Now something else I want to mention is that there's actually escape sequences, and escape sequences allow you to kind of have special commands inside of your string. So let's just go ahead and say print hello world, and if I run this, I see hello world printed on one line. But I can actually add an escape sequence, so it's going to be a \n, and what this does is it basically tells Python, hey, this n right here, that's no longer the character n. I actually want you to, because of this backslash, treat this as a new line. So if that escape character there, it's going to say print hello, space, then a new line, and then space world. So that's what we see here, hello, space, and world. If I wanted world to be lined up with hello, I could actually just touch it like this, run that, and then I see hello world. And Python knows not to include this letter n there because it's essentially attached to that backslash. So another popular escape sequence is T for tab, and if I run that, I get back hello, tab, so 4 spaces, world. And we'll be talking a lot more about this when we discuss print formatting coming up next. For now, another built-in function that I want to show you is the len function, or the length function. So this allows you to check the length of a string. So I can say hello, and if I run this, I get back length of 5 because there's 5 characters in that string. If there happens to be a space in the string, so I will say I am hungry. Let's make it more obvious. We'll just say I am. And we run this. Here we can see there's 4. So we have I space am, so that counts as a length of 4 characters in the string. All right, we'll stop it here for now, and in the very next lecture, we'll pick up right where we left off, discussing string indexing and string slicing. I'll see you there.